insurance choice bill, which not Senator, but Joseph Cameron said was, what did he say, bigger than God? That was interesting. But really,
I think
he upsold it, yeah. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this issue? 637-0094. And I also wanted to ask, you posted something, SYL, or not you, but is it Dennis Larson?
Yeah.
SYL, and then he used some RBMC. What is RBMC? What is that?
Okay, so RBMC is stands for Ronin Brotherhood Motorcycle Club, and Ronin Club is, I believe they're like the Hells Angels chapter of Guam or something. I got this whole story about me and the Hells Angels chapter here on Guam, and I want to do it right, Bree.
Oh,
because
okay.
I got it. It's
Hells Angels is on Guam?
Apparently, Hells Angels is on Guam, but I don't know if it's like legit Hells Angels or they just want to be Hells Angels or they just got the T-shirts or what. But basically, it all stems. Responded to this accident scene, and it was a motorcycle accident. And I'm gonna talk about it a little, and then I want to get the video on. Maybe tomorrow we can kind of go into it. So I responded to the scene of this accident, and it was a motorcycle accident, and so as a member of the media, I always film. We got the call. I showed up at the scene. I was filming the scene of the accident, and I was about 20 feet away, respectful that, I'm not that guy to go stick the phone in your face. I mean, I'll ask you a tough question, but, I try and act with respect, especially because if I was in an accident, I wouldn't want some camera up in my face. So I was away.
Yeah. And
I was in my mask, and my kids were in the car. And it happens all the time. We're driving around with Dad. Oh, Dad's got to go film this. So hold on. So anyway, one of the members of this Ronin Brotherhood motorcycle Hells Angels thing saw me filming. He was not wearing a mask. He approached me from 20 feet away in an aggressive manner and got right up in my face and was like, "What are you doing? And he was talking a bunch of stuff on the way over. And I was like, "Sir, I'm with the news. I'm just filming the accident." And then he got like right in front of the phone. I mean, literally, he was in my face, and he was being a smartass, and he was acting kind of tough, and he was in my face with no mask, speaking in an aggressive manner. But again, like I said, I try and be professional, and I was like, "Yes, sir, I'm just doing my job here," and he just kept standing there. So I moved over a little and kept filming, and then I guess he realized that, he wasn't going to get a rise out of me, and he went back to his other Hells Angels friends. And so I ended up posting the video on my Instagram, and I ended up doing a little research on this Ronin Brotherhood Motorcycle Club, and it turns out that they're what you call a Hells Angels support club. So I don't know how it works, like how many Hells Angels points you need before you become like a real-life Hells Angels member. But these guys are what you call the support of Hells Angels. So when the real Hells Angels comes to Guam, these guys have to like wash their bikes, and
you're killing me.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I went and I found out these guys got an Instagram, they got a Facebook, they got a website, and I thought it was interesting because they do these like this merchandise stuff, and it all mimics the Hells Angels stuff. So Hells Angels, there's this tradition. I only know this because I really researched this.
You really know your stuff here.
Hells Angels, there's a tradition. They carry a ball hammer, and going back, if you research this, they carry the ball hammer to defend themselves in fights and also to smash mirrors or whatever. So you can actually order like a Hells Angels hammer, and this Ronin Biker Club has a hammer that's exactly like the Hells Angels, same colors, and they're all in the red and white and all that stuff. So anyway, I was posting stuff on Instagram, and then Dennis Larson, who he left a comment here, messaged me on Facebook, and he was, I don't know what he sent, but he sent about 5 messages, and then I guess he changed his mind and deleted them all. So me, I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "Are you with the Hells Angels?" And he messaged me, and he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I just want to ask that you don't post anything about Hells Angels, that we're the only ones that could post about the Hells Angels." So of course
he's like,
me, Bree. If you tell me don't I'm gonna be like, "Hells Angels, Hells Angels, Hells Angels, get out of Guam, we don't want you here." Yeah, and so I didn't know. I mean, I figured this guy Dennis, who I don't know, thought I was just making trouble. And so what they did was they had one of the, I think there's like one Chamorro guy in this motorcycle club. They made the Chamorro guy call me, and and I know him, and I'm not gonna say his name or anything, but he was basically like, "Hey, we just want to squash this," and I was like, "Dude, do you even know, Chelu, what happened?" And he was like, "No, they just said you're posting about Hell's Angels, and we just want to stop it. You know, Hell's Angels is going to come to Guam. We're just, you know." And anyway, he was saying, and I was like, "I don't give a damn about Hell's Angels, whatever. It's none of my business." But so when I explained to the Chamorro guy that the reason why I had an issue was that one of their members had got in my face with no mask, the Chamorro guy was like, "What? Lanhead, they did what?" He was like, "That's it. I'm going to go talk to these guys." And that was like the last I heard of it. And so, but the last couple days, Dennis Larson has been posting little comments on our Facebook stream, which is crazy because I got his number. I messaged him. I said, "Hey, we want to talk about the Hells Angels on Guam." I think people don't know. And if you're trying to bring this element or, whatever, there's like the Hells Angels, the 1%ers, which are supposed to be, there's a whole thing where the Hells Angels had a bad rep. And then they said 99% of us, we're accountants and we're, we just like motorcycles, but the 1% that's the bad apples. And so these guys all wear that little 1% patch. And I know, part of it is like you're older, you get a midlife crisis, and you want to be cool and, rock your Hells Angels or whatever. But I'm curious. And Dennis, obviously you're a fan, so I want to reach out to you again and say, let's call this talk show and let's tell the people of Guam about the Hells Angels on Guam, because I think it's really interesting. And I've heard just so many things from the other biker clubs about some of the questionable things that have happened with this Ronin group. And, again, I'm not making trouble. I'm just in the media, and I think it's newsworthy that we have Hells Angels on Guam. I mean, it is. It's like if we had KKK on Guam or, Black Panthers chapter or whatever. I think it would be like, wow, it's coming to Guam. And so, we all watch the documentaries about these different biker gangs, and I just thought that it was really interesting that we have a whole motorcycle group on Guam that's affiliated with Hells Angels that's posting all this stuff about Hells Angels. And then when you try and shine a light on that, they want to come at me and say, don't post anything about Hells Angels. So, I mean, I think that says a lot right there. So, anyway, yeah. I know I'll get into it. We'll show the video. And I really want to reach out and get Dennis on to, talk about it. Maybe they're not like the bad Hells Angels. Maybe they're like the fluffy teddy bear ones. I mean, I don't know. I want to know, though, because I think I got kids.
I want to know, too.
Yeah,
Hells Angels, you hear Hells Angels, like red flag, red flag.
I mean, yeah, if you Google Hells Angels, they're like a lot of, they're running drugs and all this stuff. And so I think it's, and if you talk to law enforcement about it, which I did, they have their own thoughts on this. And it's not, they don't think that this is a fluffy teddy bear Hells Angels. They think that this is a legit.
When that incident happened and you sent me the video, I hadn't heard of this organization. You hear about the Guam Hogs and Thunder Road, I think, and they're the ones who do a lot of the
toy
charity.
run.
And I think Dennis actually did do, I can't remember what organization, was it Guam Hogs?
Well, I think he used to be with one of the groups, and then they had like
all these charity toys, and we participated in these events with him. But yeah, I'd never heard of the Ronin Marianas, whatever it is.
They have Instagram, guys. If you just search like Ronin Guam or something, it'll come up, and you'll see there they've brought bona fide members of Hells Angels to Guam, and they have pictures of the Guam members over at Stockton, California, Hells Angels Clubhouse, and it's just it's a weird culture. I mean, it's weird. Like, you ever watch those documentaries about gangs and you're like, wow, this is just like, I felt like I was in the gang. So when I was researching this, there's just like a lot of things that you see. And then when I looked at this Ronin Club's Instagram, they do this thing like if they post a picture of a Hells Angels, like the clubhouse or whatever. So they got all these pictures with different Hells Angels in the States, but they'll be standing in front of like a Hells Angels clubhouse, but they block out the H and the A. Which I heard is if you're not like a bona fide Hells Angels member and you're just a support, you're not like allowed to use the logo or wear the patch or I don't know. I thought it was really interesting, and we're kind of talking about it, and I got a guest on the hold here. Let's so I want to go into it maybe next week or something, and I just think it was pretty neat. Let's switch gears here. Okay, definitely big switch, guys.
Sorry I brought it up. Jeez.
Nah, it's
Really got you going there.
I
Yeah.
just think again, it's really.
You want me to get you some coffee? Some,
How about some aloe vera?